Hello everyone. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. It would really help the channel out quite a bit. Thank you very much.
Blackhawks goal scored by Boom Boom Warshawski!
And now a visit to the ballet to talk to Paige Carrington, my cousin's girlfriend.
Deadlock by Sara Paretsky.
The performance is nearly over, I'm afraid, miss.
Never mind. Can I go in anyway?
Dramatized for radio by Michelene Wandor.
Sure. You might as well take a program. No charge.
Thanks a lot.
With Kathleen Turner as V.I. Warshawski.
Down the hallway lined with pictures of ballerinas in various roles, including some of Paige.
Episode 5. Pavane for a dead hockey player.
Hi, Paige. She looks exquisite, damn her.
Hello, Vic.
Gee, I'm afraid I got here too late to see you dance.
You didn't come to see me dance. You come to ask me more impertinent questions.
Just questions, Paige.
I'm afraid I have a dinner engagement.
Trying to drown your sorrows?
Life goes on, Vic. You need to learn that.
So it does. And I'm sorry to drag you back into a past that you're trying to forget. I'd just like to know who took you to Guy Oldenflut's party.
Who? What?
Last Christmas. The party where you met Boom Boom. My cousin. Remember?
Sure, I remember.
Niels Greyfalk wanted to meet some hockey players, and Oldenflut gave a party. Or have you blocked that out, along with the rest of the dead past?
How dare you?
Don't hit me, Paige. I learned my fighting in the streets, and I don't want to lose my temper and hurt you. Now, who took you to Oldenflut's party?
None of your damn business. Now, if you don't leave the theater, I'll call the guard and tell him you're harassing me. Please don't ever come back. It would make me ill to have you watch me dance.
Next morning, I go down to the corner for the Sunday Herald Star and some croissants. While the coffee percolates, I try Howard Mattingly. No answer. I wonder if Elsie's had the baby. I try Clayton Phillips. No answer. Oh, coffee's ready. Oh, Jesus. The body of a man identified as Howard Mattingly was found late last night in Kosciuszko Park. Police say he was hit by a car. They estimate he had been dead at least 20 hours before the body was found. Maybe right after he got back from Sault Ste. Marie. I wonder. Murray?
Go away.
No, wake up. I want to talk to you.
It's Sunday, damn it. Who is this?
It's V.I. Come on. It's 11 in the morning. I want to see you.
Oh, Vic, if you knew how long I've waited to hear those words from you. My mother keeps telling me she's just using you, Murray. She just wants to worm information out of you. But deep down in my secret heart, I knew that one day my warmest passions would be reciprocated.
Murray, your warmest passion next to beer is for a hot story. Now, why don't you come up and watch the poor old Cubbies take on the winningest team in baseball, and I will give you an exclusive on the wreck of the Lucilla Weiser.
The ship that was blown up? What do you know about that?
I was there. I was an eyewitness. I watched the whole thing happen. I may even have seen the man or woman who planted the depth charges.
What?
Have we got a date?
Why were you on the Lucilla?
Are you coming to the game or not?
Hey, what do you want, Vic? Why the elaborate setup?
I will see you at the game, 12:45, right?
Right.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Phillips. This is V.I. Warshawski. I'm a business associate of your husband's. May I speak with him, please?
I'm afraid he's not in.
When do you expect him?
I'm afraid I have no idea.
Well, can you just tell me what time he went out? Hi, Bobby.
Well, Miss Vicky. What brings you down here on a Sunday?
Oh, I just killing time.
Yeah, as long as that's all you're killing.
I went to Boom Boom's apartment yesterday. Place is pretty grim. Oh, hey, did you guys ever make an arrest for the Henry Kelvin murder?
Are you on the Kelvin payroll or something, Vicky? That family's been bugging us day in, day out. You know, we don't solve crimes any faster with that kind of hassling.
Well, now, that depends on who's doing the hassling, doesn't it? Oh, by the way, I read about that hit-and-run case in Kosciuszko Park. You know that guy Mattingly? Used to play with Boom Boom and the Blackhawks. Gee, I sure hope the Hawks have got a good employee benefits plan. That team doesn't seem to be holding up too well.
You come down here to talk sports insurance with me? Huh?
No, I know Mattingly's wife. She's fragile. First baby due any second.
Yeah, well, between you and me, she's better off without that bohun. He had his hand stuck in everybody's pocket. He owed gambling money, too.
So you figure one of his creditors got tired of waiting and ran him over?
I don't figure nothing for your consumption. Look, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, quit fooling around with crime. You'll only get hurt.
Leave that to the police.
Right.
They are paid to handle it.
Yeah.
If you've told me once, you've told me more like 1,000,000 times, Bobby. See you around.
All right.
Hey,
Let's go already. Hot dog, Vic. Beer.
Oh, thanks, Marie. I'll take the hot dog. You drink the beer.
All righty.
Tell me about Mattingly.
Hockey player and small-time hood. What did Boom Boom think of him?
Boom Boom hate him. They felt sorry for poor little Elsie.
Why did she stay with him?
Murray, grow up. Why does anybody stay with anybody? She was a child, a baby. She could have been more than 18 when he married her. God, let's not get into the psychology of marriage.
All righty.
Tell me if there are any leads on his death.
No, he was out of town for the past 3 or 4 days. The police will question the hockey team, of course, but as far as I can tell, most of the guys felt the same way as your cousin.
Do you know if he was wearing a size 12 Arroyo hiking boot?
What?
There's a footprint in Boom Boom's apartment. Size 12 Arroyo hiking boot.
I'll check it out.
Yes, a hit!
I don't believe it! Listen, what are you doing after the game, Vic?
Is the beer getting to you, Murray?
I'm going to be hungry.
Well, how about fettuccine amatriciana?
Sounds great.
Oh, careful there. Now, my shoulder isn't quite here.
Well, we'll find out how much exercise it's up to.
Yeah, no one would ever call you a wooing romantic, Murray.
Whatever. Works.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's the star. Where's my beeper?
I'll show you where your beeper is, Murray. Come here.
Hey, get off, Vic.
Come here.
The trip's gonna beat me to this story.
Oh, yeah, and if you unplug yourself from your electronic toy for 5 minutes, you'll miss out on everything. Imagine no TV, no telephone, no beepers, no computers. You'd be like a beached whale. What would you do?
Go back to sleep.
1:30 a.m. I'll go back to sleep. Keep thinking about Boom Boom. Get up and look at the pictures I took from his apartment. A photo of me in my graduation robes. That's going back a bit. Oh, shit. All this glass everywhere. Ow. The whole goddamn frame's falling apart. What's this? Holy. Shipping invoices. An invoice from Grey Fox Steamship to the Eudora Grain Company, and a list of 6 dates when Polestar lost shipments to Grey Fox. Well. So that's why Boom Boom wanted to speak to me before he died. And when he couldn't get a hold of me, he stuffed the papers behind my picture to keep him safe. Oh, Boom Boom. I miss you so much. Well, I'm not going to go to sleep anymore tonight. As soon as it's light, I'll find out who's at the bottom of this.
Can I help you, miss?
Oh, yes. I came in on Mr. Bledsoe's plane Friday night, and I think I might have lost an earring. It looks like this.
Oh, well, what time you come in?
Oh, around 5, I guess.
What kind of plane does this Bledsoe fly?
I don't know. It's about 6, I think. It's new. The paint's really fresh and shiny.
Bledsoe. Oh, yes, Piper Cab. Came in 5:20.
Would you ask the pilot to look for me?
Well, Cappy only comes in when Mr. Bledsoe needs him to fly.
Oh, well, maybe you have a number where I could call him?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, come on. It's my favorite earring.
Okay, lady. I'll get him to call you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks very much. Hello?
I was asked to call you. Mr. Bledsoe's pilot.
Cappy.
Capstone.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Capstone. My name is Wachowski. I am a detective. I'm looking into Howard Mattingly's death.
Never heard of the guy.
What, wasn't he your passenger back from Sault Ste. Marie on Friday night?
Nope.
Wait a minute, bright red hair, stocky build?
That's the guy on the plane, but his name wasn't Mattingly. It was Olson.
Olson? Do you know where he went after he left the airport in Chicago?
There was a car waiting for him. He got in, they took off. Don't know where.
Did you see the driver?
I was filling out my forms. I didn't notice.
Well, do you know what car it was?
Can't say. It was big. It might have been a Caddy or an Oldsmobile, I suppose.
How'd you come to take this guy? I thought you were going to fly Mr. Bledsoe down.
Yeah, well, Mr. Bledsoe called and said he wasn't coming. Told me to take this guy instead.
When did Mr. Bledsoe call you?
Thursday afternoon.
Are you sure it was Bledsoe?
Well, who else could it have been? It's his plane.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Capstone.
Uh-huh.
Do I turn my information about Mattingly and Bledsoe over to Bobby Mallory? No. No, the answer to this mess lies in Boom Boom's documents. Just 24 more hours, and then I'll turn it over to Bobby. Take the stack of contracts that I borrowed from Wandor Grain and go through them until I find the one that matches the invoices I found in the picture. Now, 3 million bushels of soybeans from Chicago to Buffalo last July. 33 cents a bushel in the contract. The invoice bills it at 35. A difference of 2 cents a bushel on 3 million bushels comes to $60,000. The Gray Folk signs a contract for 33 cents and bills it at 35 cents. Well. What's this? Polestar's bids are lower than Gray Folk's, but Gray Folk gets the contracts? I mean, what's going on here? Time to get some explanation from these clowns. Head for the port. Lois!
Just a moment.
It's great to see you two. Where's Phillips?
You mean Mr. Phillips?
Is he in today?
I'm afraid he's away from the office on business. Do you want to make an appointment?
No, thank you. Can I look at his office?
Excuse me. I told you he is not here.
So he isn't. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, dear. It's been like this all morning. I've had a call from the Toronto Sun about the Lucilla's accident, another from a radio station in Kansas. Hold the line, please.
Can't you just take the phone off the hook?
We can't afford to miss any orders, not with the Lucilla out of action.
Well, I thought the Lucilla was the only ship Polestar owned.
It's the only big one. We lease a number of smaller ships.
Do you know where Mr. Bledsoe is?
Oh, he went down to watch them unload coal from the Gertrude Rutton, one of the ships we lease.
Where is that?
10 miles around the lake to the east. Now, please, excuse me.
As I move into steel territory, the blue air darkens and turns red-black. Every movement closer to the mills carries me further back to the grimy streets of South Chicago where I grew up. The women on the streets have the same pinched look. Bits of cinder blow onto the windshield of the Omega. Great hills of coal frame the lakefront. The Gertrude Rutton looms above me. Martin! Hey! Martin Bledsoe!
Vic! Hi there!
Can I come up?
Sure. Can you make the ladder?
No problem.
You seem to have a knack of arriving as work starts.
What's happening?
Unloading coal. Takes about 8 hours to unload with machinery compared to 2 days using manual labor.
Why are you here?
Well, every time I move cargo from now on, I'm not going to be able to sleep until I know the ship has made it in and out of port safely.
Any news on the Lucilla?
No. Until they get the ship out of the lock, they won't be able to see what kind of explosive was used.
Now, how long will that take?
Oh, a good 10 months.
That's a long time.
The lock will be shut all summer. It'll take most of next year to repair the gates.
Can you save the ship?
Oh, yes, I think so. The shipbuilders will take the sections back to Toledo and weld them together. We should be operating again by the end of next summer.
Who pays to repair the lock?
I don't know. Well, I'm not responsible for the damn thing blowing up. The Army has to fix it, I think. Unless the Court of Inquiry assigns liability to me. There's no way in hell they can do that.
Stop the belt! Stop it!
What is it? What is the belt
Get out of here!
What is it?
Down there, in the hole.
What's going on?
Oh, God.
I'm going down.
I'm going with you.
Oh, my God.
A body covered with coal.
It's Clayton Phillips.
Blood is dried across his face. Call the police. Make sure nobody touches the body. Come on, Martin, you come with me.
Vic, I ought to stay here.
Come on! Before the police get here, you and I have a few things we have to discuss. You have some explaining to do, Martin.
I have some explaining. What about you? How come you're so quick on the spot every time disaster strikes Polestar? How did Phillips get onto that ship, huh? Who blew up the Lucilla?
How come Howard Mattingly flew back from Chicago on your plane?
Who the hell is Howard Mattingly?
You don't know?
I don't know.
Then who did you send back to Chicago on your plane?
I didn't send anyone. My plane disappeared. Cappy insists I called from Thunder Bay and told her to fly a guy called, Olson back to Chicago. Someone must have been pretending to be me. Where does this, Mattingly guy figure?
Okay, listen. Howard Mattingly was a second-string wing for the Chicago Blackhawks ice hockey team. He was run over by a car and left to die in a park on Chicago's northwest side. He fits the description of the guy Cappy flew back to Chicago. I think he exploded the depth charges on the Lucilla. I think I saw him do it.
God damn it! If you saw him do it, how come you haven't said anything to anyone, huh? I've been talking my head off to the FBI for 2 days, and you've just been sitting on vital information.
I didn't recognize him immediately. He was holding what looked like this huge pair of binoculars, and they must have been the radio controls for the detonators. The whole thing only dawned on me after the Lucilla had gone sky high, and then you disappeared, and I jumped off the ship to see if I could catch him.
Why didn't you tell the police later?
Well, by the time I got to the airport at Sault Ste. Marie, I found that Mattingly had gone back to Chicago on your airplane, presumably under your orders. Now, that really upset me. I wanted to talk to you before I told the police.
And now?
Now I'd like to know how Clayton Phillips' body came to be in the hold of a ship you're leasing.
You tell me, Vic. You're the smart detective. Oh, perhaps you've already decided that a man with my record is capable of anything, huh?
Oh, Martin.
Capable of destroying his own dreams?
Martin, I don't
Capable
know.
of murder?
Phillips has been missing since yesterday morning. Where were you yesterday morning?
Oh, knock it off.
You listen to me. This is what the police are going to ask.
I was in conference with my Lloyd's insurance representative until 10 o'clock last night.
Who knew the Gertrude Rutton was going to be there over the weekend?
Anyone who knows anything about ships coming in and out of the port.
Well, that narrows it a lot. So the same thing goes for who sabotaged my car and who killed Boom Boom. I was figuring Phillips for that job, but now he's dead, too. That leaves Neil Grayfalk, Captain Bemis, Mike Sheridan, and you.
I told you where I was.
You could have hired someone.
So could Niels. Hey, maybe he hired you to set me up, huh?
You gotta be kidding.
Who are you working for, Wachowski?
My cousin.
Your cousin is dead.
I know, that's why I'm working for him. We had a pact, Boom Boom and I. We took care of each other. Well, somebody shoved him under the berth of Krupnik, and he left me evidence of that reason. Part of that evidence implicates you, Martin. I want to know why you were letting so many of your contracts with Eudora Grain go to Grayfalk.
What do you mean? It happens all the time.
No, you were letting Grayfalk pick up a number of orders when you were the lowest bidder. Now, you're going to tell me why, or do I have to interrogate your staff and go through your books?
I didn't kill your cousin, Wachowski. If anyone did, it was Grayfalk. Why don't you focus on him and find out how he blew up my ship?
You're not a dummy, Martin. You think it through, huh? It looks like you and Grayfalk were in collusion on those shipping orders. So you do a deal on the price and you split the difference. Mattingly flies back to Chicago on your plane. Phillips' body is found on your ship. If I was a cop, I wouldn't look any further.
All right, it's true. I did let Niels have some of my orders. You gonna put me in jail for it?
Come on, that's not up to me.
I was trying to put finance together for Lucilla. The steel slump was hurting everyone. Niels was getting desperate for orders. His company was really taking it on the chin because of all those damn small ships of his. He told me he would let the story of my prison record out into the financial community if I didn't give him some of my orders.
Would that really have hurt you?
I was trying to raise $50 million. I couldn't afford to find out.
I got it. Then what?
As soon as I launched the Lucilla, I told Niels to publish and be damned. As long as I'm making money, no one is going to care a tinker's damn about my record. Niels was furious.
Look, it's a mighty big jump from pressuring you over a few grain orders to blowing up your ship.
No one else cares enough.
Martin, I'm glad you told me. Now what?
You better take me back to the port. The police will want to talk to me.
Drop Martin back at the port entrance. Traffic is heavy all the way into the city. Reach Ajax Insurance headquarters a little after 5. A walnut and crimson suite on the 53rd floor. Papers strewn across the executive-sized walnut desk. Mr. Hogarth?
Yeah?
I have some information on the Lucilla Weiser. B.I. Wachowski.
If you have information on the Lucilla, you're more welcome than a heat wave in January. Miss Wachowski, this is Roger Ferrand, London branch of Scupperfield Plowder, lead underwriters on the Lucilla's hull and cargo insurance.
How do you do?
A tall man stands up to shake my hand. Firm grip. Dark hair falls over warm, dark eyes.
Roger's probably the most knowledgeable man in the world about Great Lakes shipping, even though he operates out of London. Do sit down, Miss Wachowski.
Thank you.
Shocking business, the Lucilla.
Yes, very. Even more shocking when it happened.
How do you know?
I was there.
Oh, really?
Gentlemen, I'm a private investigator. I was looking into the accident of the Lucilla as part of a murder inquiry. Now, at the moment, I have two separate crimes. The murder of a young man connected with the Eudora Grain Company and the destruction of the Lucilla. It's not clear to me yet where they intersect. However, I was on board the Lucilla when she blew up, and that has given me something of a personal interest in the explosion.
Who's your client?
A private individual. Tell me, how long does it take to clear up a claim like this?
Years.
Years?
Honestly, Miss Wachowski, it can take a very long time.
Well, who pays Martin Bledsoe's expenses while he reassembles the Lucilla?
We do. We pay for the destroyed cargo and the business interruption, the loads that Bledsoe is foregoing by having his ship lying at the bottom of the lock. Ferrand here handles the hull damage.
Do you advance money to cover the cost of repairing the ship?
No, we pay the bills as the shipyard submits them.
And what if Bledsoe destroyed the ship himself?
Well, there isn't any point in ruining a brand new ship like the Lucilla. If it was one of those old things that cost more to operate than they could earn, then maybe.
Like Gray Fox, you mean? I mean, he's better off collecting insurance money than running the ships?
Not necessarily. It depends on the extent of the damage.
Bledsoe told me he wasn't liable for the damage to the lock. Is that so?
Well, that's another one that's going to tie up the lawyers for a decade or two. If Bledsoe was responsible for the damage to the ship, which in turn damaged the forward lock gates, then he's liable. Now, Miss Wachowski, what information have you on the Lucilla?
Well, it's not exactly hard information. See, the guy who probably set off the explosion has been murdered. If the police can track down who killed him, then they'll find the person who paid him to blow up the ship.
I must say, it's cheering to know there may really be a villain out there.
What if he works for another of your clients?
You mustn't say things like that. You really mustn't. I feel hungry for the first time since I heard about the Lucilla. Please don't ruin my dinner, Miss Wachowski.
And home for dinner is where we should head after this good news. If that's all for now.
Well, sure, you've given me ideas to follow. Can I give either of you guys a ride?
No, thanks. I have my car.
I'd welcome a lift to the Hancock building. I'm staying at the firm's flat there.
Flat?
Sorry, apartment.
Oh, that's better. Well, my Omega's in the garage. What do you think of Bledsoe?
Bledsoe is one of the cleverest men in the industry today. It's not a good time to be in Great Lakes shipping, at least not for U.S. carriers. Your government gives considerable advantages to foreign flagships, which they don't grant to U.S. vessels. I hope the Lucilla disaster doesn't finish Polestar. By the way, this may be a frightful cheek, but will you have dinner with me?
When?
Tonight?
I'm afraid I can't tonight. I have to work late. Some other evening, maybe?
That's the date, then?
I'll call you. Phillips is dead. Perhaps because he panicked and threatened to reveal what he knew. Mattingly's dead, probably to keep him from boasting in the locker room that he'd blown up a ship. Boom Boom is dead because he knew that Phillips was fiddling grain invoices. All the deaths in this case have been staged as accidents. Boom Boom fallen overboard, Mattingly hit by a car, Phillips crushed in a ton of coal. If my car crash had killed me as it was supposed to, I don't suppose anybody would have gone to great pains to find the steering control was sabotaged. Now, if I tell the police what I know about Mattingly...
Good evening, Miss Wachowski.
Good evening, Sergeant McGonigal. You startled me.
Oh, I'm sorry, miss. Would you mind coming downtown with me? Lieutenant Mallory wants to ask you some questions.
What about?
I don't know. He just asked me to bring you down.
Lieutenant Mallory thinks I should be living in Melrose Park with a husband and 6 children. I suspect he wants to ask me how close I am to reaching that goal. Tell him to send me a Christmas card.
I'm afraid you're not as funny as you think you are, Miss Wachowski. Your fingerprints were found in Clayton Phillips' office. Anyone else would have a warrant to bring them in as a material witness. Because Lieutenant Mallory was a friend of your father's, he wants to ask you to come of your own free will to answer some questions.
Okay, Sergeant, what the hell? My car or yours?
Mine, I think.
I see. You don't trust me. Okay. You want to see me, Bobby? Here I am.
Sit down, Vicky.
Oh, how kind.
You were at the port this morning when Phillips' body was discovered.
Was I?
You were there, weren't you?
Oh, I thought you were making a statement, not asking a question. Of course I was there.
What were you doing down there?
I put Phillips's body in the hold on Sunday morning, and I wanted to see people's faces when it came out on the conveyor belt, so I went back.
Vicky, you're very close to going to jail. Now tell me what you were doing at the dock.
I was looking for Martin Bledsoe. He owns the Polestar line.
Why?
I was on board the Lucilla Viso when she blew up last week. That's his ship. Somebody planted depth charges last Friday up in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, I know all about that. But what did you want to see Bledsoe for?
I left a suitcase on the ship. I wanted to know if they got it back.
Come on, you don't go bothering the owner of a steamship line for that kind of crap. Now, cut the bullshit and tell me the truth.
I am telling you the truth. No one else knew anything about it, so I went to see him. My Smith & Wesson was in my suitcase. It cost me $300. I can't afford to replace it.
I've never liked the idea of you carrying a gun.
Oh, come on, Bobby. You know my dad taught me how to use one safely, okay?
I didn't approve of everything Tony did. Like, why did you have the gun with you on board ship? And what were you doing there anyway?
You remember my car accident? You guys want to believe it was vandals? I think it was someone connected with the port, so I flew up to Canada to talk to the guys on the Lucilla. I took my gun with me for self-defense, just in case.
Look, Vicky, as far as I'm concerned, Boom Boom's death was an accident. You were the victim of vandals, and Kelvin interrupted a routine break-in in your cousin's apartment.
Well, you think what you think. You're wrong.
How did your fingerprints get in Phillips' office?
What were you guys doing fingerprinting his office anyway?
He might have been killed before he was dumped on the ship. He had a head wound.
When did it happen?
About 6 Sunday morning. Look, now, what were you doing in the guy's office?
I was looking for information that might show Phillips led a life of crime.
Who's your client, Vicky?
Privileged information, Bobby. You know, you can't drag a body into the port without somebody noticing you.
Yeah, we're questioning people right now.
Is Niels Greyfalk one of them?
No. Why?
Just curious.
Why were you at Phillips' office?
I was looking for something that would tie Eudora Grain into Boom Boom's death. He'd been arguing with Phillips.
You know, we see a lot of this in here. You know, someone loses their relative in a terrible accident. They can't believe it's happened, and they say it's murder. It makes the death easier to handle. Vicky, you go away for a few weeks, someplace warm. Baby, lie in the sun for a while. You need to give yourself a chance to recover from all this.
You go to hell, Bobby Mallory. It's close to 10 o'clock when I board the northbound subway at Roosevelt Road. Pain in my shoulders back. Walk rapidly. Hold my keys clenched between my fingers. Why the hell doesn't Bobby Mallory stay out of my life? Home, thank goodness. What the? A man, thin, wiry, wearing a ski mask, holding a chisel. He's halfway through the lock on my door. Okay, hold it. I have you covered. Now turn around and put your hands up. Slowly. Very slowly.
In episode 5 of Deadlock, Kathleen Turner played V.I. Warshawski, with James Aubrey as Martin Bledsoe, William Hootkins as Bobby Mallory, and Kerry Shale as Murray. Bill Nye played Roger Ferrant, Teresa Gallagher, Paige Carrington, Shelley Thompson, Janine Phillips, and Philip Anthony, Jack Hogarth. Sandra James Young was Lois, Geraldine Fitzgerald, Bledsoe's secretary, Federae Holmes, the receptionist, and John Church was Cappy. Deadlock was dramatized by Michelene Wandor, and the director was Janet Whittaker.